visitors to the zoo have each day, and they realized they had to use division here. So for the word, they wrote quotient, even though quotient wasn't in that particular word problem. They knew that it was asking for the quotient. Then they wrote their division sign for operation. Their example was the sentence, they need to find the quotient of 98,464 and 362, and then they wrote it as an equation, and down here did the division steps. So I like the annotating, and as you saw with the cup strategy, there was paraphrasing and writing, and there's a lot of reading with not only the math textbook, but with the Smarter Balanced performance tasks that they take at this end of the year testing that we're actually starting tomorrow. They're going to be doing a lot of performance tasks where it's not just a quick solve this equation. They're going to be reading situations like this, and they're going to need to understand the word and what does that mean, which operation is that. They're going to need to understand how to then solve. So these two I want you guys to try out. I have word problems that I'm going to hand out. They're actually from our math textbook, so they're ones that you will encounter each year you teach 6th grade. And just have you try both strategies one at a time. We'll start with cups. We'll start with a pretty simple word problem, and then we'll do the keywords, and you can see what you think will work for your kids, what you might need to adjust, or I can answer any questions since I've done both in my class pretty frequently recently over the last month or so. So now we are all going to do the cup strategy. So you have a template in front of you that kind of explains again what the C, U, P, and S means. And so now we're going to take about 10 minutes at our tables to solve these using that strategy. So go ahead and start. All right, thank you for participating in that. And if you have any questions, we'll kind of go through all those at the end. Next, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and use the keyword summary. So again, you have papers in front of you with word problems on them, and you can choose one that you like. And go ahead and fill out. You also have a template, like an empty box. And I can send these to everyone in Google Drive too, but you have an empty box template that you can fill out with your word, your operation, your example, and then write out your equation. So again, we'll have about 10 minutes to write an equation based on these word problems. So go ahead and start. All right, thank you guys for participating in the keyword summary. So before we go into any final questions, I want to go over the resources that you'll be taking with you. And these you already have in front of you. I know it's not the best on the PowerPoint, but at least you have a copy right with you right now. So this is one I actually give my students if you want to run off a copy. My students cut and paste this in their math journals. This is the cup strategy. It explains what C, U, P, and S means, and then it really elaborates on circle the operation words, any important numbers, and then that second step of underline the final question. What are they asking you to do? That third step of paraphrase, put it in your own words. What is this math problem asking? And then that final step of solve and label if needed, if you're working with anything that has to be labeled. And so I make a copy of this for my students as well, and it's something they can refer to because the first few times they do this close reading strategy with math, it can seem a little overwhelming. So if they can look at their paper and then circle, okay, look, what am I underlining? And then eventually it becomes second nature and it's not too hard for them. These are just some integer word problems I took from the math textbook, the 6th grade book, and just put them on a piece of paper if you want to practice those with your students. Do it. You can model it. You can have some of them do these in groups or individual, but they're just word problems that I pulled from our math textbook that I thought worked really well with this strategy. Then everybody's also getting the example of the keyword strategy. So this one is already done for us. It shows different operations and words and examples and how you would write the equation. This could be one they also put in a math journal if they have one, or some kind of notebook so they don't lose it. And this is a blank template. So you can make copies of this or have students draw out their own in a math journal or a math notebook, whatever you use in your classrooms. And they can add to it when necessary, when they get to those word problems. So those are very useful strategies. And now we'll go over any questions anyone has, any clarifications on the strategies of when to use them or how to modify them. But I know with our demographic of students, our English language learners, these have helped them. It's helped even my really high-level students because they can solve problems, but often they can't communicate or explain why they're solving them. So we'll go over any questions you guys may have. All right, thank you for your questions and your input. All right, I appreciate everyone letting me come talk to you about this today. And I'm excited for you to use these strategies in your 6th grade math classrooms. And if you ever have anything that goes on that you have a question about while you're actually teaching the lesson or using the strategies, you can let me know. But both of these strategies, and there's many others, really incorporate that writing and that reading and then the speaking and listening. You can have students talking to their neighbor. Once they finish one of these strategies, maybe have them meet with an elbow partner where they're discussing what they circled, what they underlined. They can maybe paraphrase to their partner, and they can have a discussion that way. So they're getting into speaking, and the partner can be listening in on that and maybe need to repeat their partner's paraphrase. But other than that, I hope you all find these strategies very useful in your classroom.